I'm Rhian Malin, I'm a ceramicist. My work is thrown porcelain with hand-painted blue decoration. I decided to do blue and white because there's a really rich history of blue and white porcelain, and I wanted to do my own contemporary take on that, which is why I do really fine lines rather than the detailed flowers or fish that the Japanese do on their blue and white porcelain. The first pattern that I ever did was actually a really zoomed in part of the willow pattern, which is a really famous British pottery pattern, and it's just a zoomed in part of the border of that, hence why the blue and white came about. And I've just always stuck to that, even though I've started doing other patterns. I just don't think anything else goes as well with the porcelain than the blue, so I've stuck to it, and I think it makes the pots work really well as a group when it's just the one colour. The first thing to do is to prepare the clay in a process called wedging, which gets rid of the air bubbles and makes the clay an even consistency for throwing with. Then they're measured into balls of the right weight for whatever I am intending to throw, and then it's time to start throwing. So throw the pot. With some of my projects I give the pots a little squeeze at the end so that they're really nice and tactile when they're finished, instead of using handles. Then after a few days, when the clay's a bit firmer, they're put back on the wheel just to tidy up the bottoms, and then they're left to dry again under plastic until they're completely bone dry. I draw the patterns on with pencil. Usually I do that by hand, but with my handheld vessels I use a projector to project a grid onto it first so that it distorts to all of the wobbles in the vessel, and then it's just a case of following the pencil line with blue underglaze, which I use a bottle applicator with a really fine nib on the end, and it just pipes out a really nice fine line. It takes a really long time though. So the reason that I came up with squashing the pots in the first place was because I wanted people to have a pot that fitted to their own hand, with teacups, so like tea bowls that fitted perfectly to your hand. So I'd throw a pot in front of them and then get them to come and just give it a gentle squeeze so it fitted perfectly in their hand and warmed up your hands when on a cold day. It's very important for my pots to be beautiful. I've put a lot of time into the painting of them, but it's also really important for me for them to be used as well, which is why I do the dimples in them, because if they're not used, you're never going to get that nice feeling you get when you pick it up and it fits perfectly on your hands. So they're both very important to me.